Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins.
What we're talking about, of course, our Discovery Christmas present we got delivered on Christmas Eve. That is episode 11, season 3, called Sukal, which was formerly called The Citadel. I'm not super stoked about this one. It had kind of a Star Trek-y vibe to it, for sure, and there were definitely some interesting elements in it. But overall, I was kind of disappointed and let down and didn't understand everything that was going on. And hopefully that's cleared up next week. I like the cliffhanger they kind of left on, was nice. And just a lot that wasn't quite right with this episode. Yes, it had its good points, but it also had some negative stuff. It wasn't one of the best of the season by any stretch, and kind of let itself down in a few spots, I think. What about you? What did you think?
It was interesting that you just said you felt let down by it. I don't think we had much expectations from going in. So I think it was more a case of it could have done more, because I don't think we had high expectations. It's just
I'm just saying, compared to the rest of the season so far, to me it felt like a letdown, considering. That being said, there was, like I said, a few good things in here that were really nice and fell in line with what the season's been giving us.
Can I throw another word then for you, rather than necessarily let you down? Did it just fall flat for you? Because we didn't necessarily have expectations,
but even that, it didn't really fall flat, because it was great to get like a holodeck story kind of thing. I kind of missed those.
Yeah.
Seeing Doug Jones and as as a human and just things like that.
So my thoughts. I had no real problem with it, but I wasn't like enthralled by it. It was a weird one, but clearly it was trying to be a weird one. So you can't, we enjoy the ones at Starfleet Command where you see Starfleet doing Starfleet, and this was three people walking through a forest and asylum. Like it's very abstractly different, but we can obviously enjoy the Sherlock Holmes episodes of TNG, which are also arguably less that Star Trek stuff. It all depends on how it's written and such. And yeah, the gimmick of them being holographically altered was good. It was fun. It was a fun gimmick. I kind of appreciate it didn't play into it very much. Like, he didn't have to pretend to be a Bajoran. Like, it was purely a clever way of getting Doug, but it was a nice, like, it was like a little bit of extra detail that didn't have to be there, but it kind of added something extra. But it was just a weird episode. Like, it's Alice in Wonderlandy, weird episode. I was very surprised where it ended, because you assume they were going to finish the arc with the child. Grogu was really doing a lot this season. Because I don't think he was fine, but he's definitely not an particularly engaging story. And if you want to set something that's that important in the grander scheme, should be more than just two mentions of just there being any Kelpians, than one mention of it being a child. Like, this, is the cause of the burn, but it feels very, very small, and so I don't really care what happens to the child at all. But that wasn't the focus either. It was trying to do everything, but in a weird way, which it achieved. But I do think you're gonna need part 2. You're gonna need that payoff with the child. You're gonna need the payoff with the Emerald Chain. It is very much we're stopping in the middle. And then what's going to happen at the end, the last episode, because we've still got that one more where it can now pull everything out. At least I liked it was 55 minutes. Unlike Mandalorian, it gives us a very full length of time, so they can allow scenes to breathe. They can also have a lot in them. Although I still don't buy Tilly as captain, and the way everyone's like, yes, Tilly, you should be in the captain's chair, even though I've been in Starfleet 9 years longer than you with way more command experience. But you go, girl, and it's like, she's not qualified.
That being said, she did better than I expected being in the captain's chair. I like the way she stood up to Asira. I thought that was nice.
Oh, that was good. That was just her playing Killy, but nice. Like, she was just using that. She was playing the part of a captain, even if that's 15 years, 20 years after her thing. I can just see them very much saying, like, season 5, whatever. She's now a captain. It's like, so you made a 27-year-old ensign to captain. Like, they should have made her a lieutenant. Like at least promote her. If you're gonna make her XO, that would have been nice to promote her. But then again, that said, she fails miserably after us, except in the she deals with Asira well in wordage, but fails in every other way in terms of protecting the crew. That, I guess, it's kind of a reason for her to be captain, was to fail, because if it was someone else, they might have known better. Because all she does on the bridge when they go to the engine room, she keeps saying, "Stamets, are you there? I'm not going to do anything about it if you aren't, but if you know, so
No, I didn't have much of a problem with the Tilly aspect of it. Yeah, I thought it was done really very well, actually. As for the Sukal guy, he reminded me very, 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 very much of Freddy Krueger. Go back and watch it with thinking of Freddy Krueger, even just the face prosthetics, the way he talks. It has a very Freddy kind of vibe to it. So that kind of took me out of it right away. Like the first time I saw that, I was like, and how long do Kelpians live? Like, he doesn't look old. He doesn't look like one of the elders. Not sure how long they live, especially now after the Vihari, that's it. Thank you. That's the thing, because he doesn't look very old. He's supposed to be 125-ish. They do make a point of saying it to the holograms. How did you keep him alive so long? No real clear answer, obviously, but
I got the sense they kind of stretched the implied truth from 2 episodes ago that the Kelpians were dying. I got the sense they probably like lived another 15, 20 years. Like she was pregnant, gave birth, like until it was like 15 or 8, like, well, not necessarily 18, but like maybe 10, 12. And then, although, we can't take our human years of being a child. I mean, 30 could be considered a child, 30 human years, etc. So you're right. There's a slight disconnect there, but obviously since the thing never got beyond a certain point. But things we don't know anything about Kelpians, so it's hard to judge. It's like, well, I guess they, middle age is 100. Have we ever asked how old Saru is? I mean, I don't know.
No, that's a good point. Now, interesting thing too, that kelp monster is terrifying and amazing visuals. I really like the monster aspect of that, and the fact that that's what this guy has to face in order to get them and himself out of this simulation. He has to confront his fears. Ties into that childhood story that the elder was talking, and I don't think I could do it because that thing is terrifying beyond words. So I really give him a lot of credit for that effect. That is a fantastic visual monster, and that's
it's also
one
very
thing that
simple.
Really...
It's a concept that is well executed, but it's simple.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, for me, for this episode, really stood out as being top-notch quality, was just that.
Well, and just the production design for the whole thing. It had a certain scale. Even though it was a destroyed scale, it kind of felt bigger in a destroyed way. And the fact they did move locations quite a bit. I know it's probably redressed destroyed room, but it did feel like that every scene was in a different room and a different location. So that was quite effective.
We also saw Starfleet uniforms, we would assume, from like 125 years ago, which was an interesting little twist. I did like the whole ask the question and then the computer's glitching out. Anticipate a response, yes or no, and then right back.
It's trying like, so hard.
Yeah. So that was actually very, very interesting, very well done. Hopefully, and even even when Michael pretended to be one of the simulations, to teach him about social interactions, that was nice. And he even says at one point, "Can computer reset parameters?" And she kind of like pretends that she got reset, and then asks how she can reset the whole system because it needs a reboot essentially. I thought that was all handled very well, and Michael didn't come off as the hero of the day in this one for sure. In fact, Saru even asked her to stay, and he's going to go back to the ship, and she's like, no, you've made a connection with him, you need to stay here even though you're the captain. I'll go back.
And that great moment, he says, but I don't want to put my personal feelings into interfere with the mission. She's like, you already have. He's like, oh, that's great. It's a nice gentle slap down, like, you already have. You've gone too far already, just go further, it's fine, I'll deal with it.
When we see Discovery get attacked by the tentacle things.
Oh my god, how low decks was that? Jesus.
I went on my first reaction view last night, and I didn't even think of this. A lot of people thought that the tentacles were very similar to the ones we see in Picard at the end that are coming through the vortex, which I didn't get that vibe at all. But
they're just tentacles, guys. No, I got lower decks vibes because they also grabbed ships and took them. I mean,
did you notice the saucer that still spins?
The inner still spins.
No, the outer one does too. You saw the registry numbers spin as he was starting to jump. So,
but we do know they've been inconsistent with their visual effects. Like sometimes they have to put themselves in and out. So, yeah. Although, boy, that looked ridiculous, didn't it? The whole ship to Spore out, the big ship. That looked insane in a funny way.
So apparently all you have to do is be connected to Discovery, and you can Spore jump as well. So just chain link some ships together and Spore jump. You can take ships however many ships as far as you want.
Opens a little bit of a door. That means they can move Starfleet Command, couldn't they?
Yep.
That might be actually.
Just-
That actually might be a payoff, actually.
Or just move 3 or 4 ships to like a planet that needs it. Spore jump in, leave them there. Spore jump out.
That's the problem with having a device with no limitations and no fuel source. You can
Even
go
though it
anywhere.
did have a fuel
even though it
source.
did. Yeah. It's a god tech that's completely infinite. It's like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it though? And then the Stamets thing with the head control device where his
Ooh, that
eyes
was
go.
harsh.
That was interesting because when the guy puts it on, and I noticed this, he says, "What you want is irrelevant." It felt and sounded very Borg-like, and even some people in the live last night pointed that out as well. And I had kind of thought that previously, but I didn't want to. I don't want to hang my hat on anything Borg. I don't want the Borg. I just don't want. I don't care. You know.
No, I think that's just word choice because it makes sense. It's a flat tone thing to say. You know, irrelevant is yeah. It's interesting though, but no, I wouldn't. I did think though it was a bit abrupt that Emerald Chain Lady appeared, but they she does the 50-50 transwarp jump, and she didn't get blown up. So I get they set that up. And she happened to make it, and she risked it, and I liked that. And we never set up that Osira was going to those planets. Just ships were at Kaminar. She was never at Kaminar, but there's a slight feeling of disconnect. Like, oh, and now she's suddenly here, even though we're very far away. It's very, yeah.
We still need in-universe explanations for transwarp because in this one we hear, on some of the courier maps there's transwarp conduits, but no one would ever think of using them because it's risky.
50-50.
So. Well, it wasn't said 50-50 in this episode, but yes. But why? Is there debris scattered throughout the corridors? What's the deal with the corridors? Like, at least it was mentioned again. Like, they're trying to kind of tell us about transwarp subtly, I guess.
But it was definitely abrupt. Although I appreciated they use a Federation transponder. Like, it just needed... They needed one word. See, I know that would have hurt the payoff, but I would have loved a moment when someone earlier on had said, ships are at Kaminar, although Osira isn't with them. Give us a very active line of, we don't know where she is. It's small, but it's very abrupt. Because distance is meant to feel big in this version of the future, but it felt... You know, and also more dangerous because you found a dilithium nursery.
Yeah, there's a lot that kind of falls flat for this episode for me.
But not bad. Just, I didn't have a problem with pretty much anything, but I wasn't really excited by much. You know, I'm very, very neutral in all of it, I think. Which is weird. Which is weird for me, you know?
It is weird for you.
Because they gave enough reasons for everything. But I think next week has to be really good. You know, we're kind of in the Mirror Universe story where the second one was kind of lower key. The first one was really epic. I think this one might be the lower key and then have a really epic. You know, like it feels like it needs to be epic.
Well, it makes me wonder if it's going to be a 3-part cliffhanger, like, or if the last episode is going to be unrelated to this. Like, it was still related to it, obviously, but not like a cliffhanger next episode.
Well, my assumption is that this is into prediction slightly, but my assumption is the next episode is about dealing with the villain of the season. And we'll chain later in the last episode about dealing with the repercussions of the information. You know, once you tell everybody what will cause the burn, how does that change the galaxy? Leads into season 4, you know, which we haven't talked about yet. We're many minutes in. Stuart, the cause of the burn that destroyed billions and trillions of lives, that set back the galaxy hundreds of years, well, thousands of years, depending how early tech was caused by a kid.
That's scared of a monster.
Maybe when his mum died. I think it was when his mum died and they caused the burn because he was that upset. But that's what I think they're going to say next week. They didn't rule that out, but yeah.
Yeah, I just want an explanation. There's still no explanation for the burn. Yes, he got upset and sent out waves of whatever that destabilized the lithium. How?
Well, they said he was born into it and he became genetically altered, like we have often in Star Trek. It happens all the time.
That wasn't said. That was asked. Was it in utero that he got adapted to the radiation and stuff? There was no answer ever provided.
They haven't scanned him. But they tend to. I mean, in Trek, most of their time, the first assumption is correct. So I took that very much as we're telling the audience just without us scanning him. So I took that as absolutely what it was.
It's still dumb though that's linked together. That I don't know. I thought that was stupid. And then in 125 years, he only got that upset one more time.
That's why I said mum dying. That's why I thought that links in, because that would be so long ago. It would be right at the precipice of the time.
Well, exactly. But then 125 years of this thing being around, trying to get him. I know they kind of imply that it got out because they arrived. And so now
Changed the balance,
yeah, he's set up these protection totems and all that. But this is the first time it kind of went face to face with them and he got scared again, which almost destabilized the lithium on Discovery. So I don't know. It's not a satisfying explanation for me at all. I think it's definitely let me down and definitely let a lot of other people down as well for the cause of the burn.
I mean, the thing is about it is that I like the fact that it's not a big bad. I like the fact that it wasn't just muhaha moustache twirler, you know? The fact it's just a cosmic coincidence sucks, but them's the breaks, you know? Like, the fact that it was no one's fault is interesting, you know? Things happen, you know, all the time in all places. It was an unfortunate event and it's sad as all hell. Although they've obviously created the solution as well, because they're going to obviously then say, this planet of dilithium has enough dilithium to restart the Federation. Like, it's both the problem, which was the season arc, then the solution to the season arc by giving, especially if you then destroy the Emerald Chain's leader, that'll start diminishing, whatever, and then you can... So, it's an interesting play for sure, although I don't care about the kid himself, so I wish he was way more interesting and way more potential, because I don't want to see him past the next episode, definitely not in season 4, don't care,
A lot of people are speculating that Sarah is going to decide to stay with him to take care of him, and then Burnham is going to step up to be captain. So, because it ties in with what they showed at the beginning of this episode in a recap of Michelle Yeoh or the Emperor saying, Sarah's not the only one fit for the captain's chair. It's like, oh no.
But that would be only because Doug Jones asked to leave. That'd be the only reason that would happen. Which he made it. 3 years of being in that makeup sucks. You might want to do other things. But when you're finally the best you've been in a season, I don't know, that'd be disappointing, because he's been the best this year. But obviously they may have thought we're going to give him a really good season because it's the last season. But also, why would he want to stay there? I mean, just go back to Kamenar. If you want to leave, he means nothing to you in the grand scheme, except a frightened child. Great. So your job is taken back to Kamenar. That's it. And then...
It's going to be a thing. You got to separate him from the planet. You got to get him out of this program, so he's not dangerous anymore.
Then have a vacation on Kamenar. Take 6 months off. That's fine. That's all good.
We'll talk more about that in our speculation video on Wednesday, of course. But because there's an interesting line or two in the coming next time on. So
yeah, I wasn't upset with the burn. Like I say, it wasn't a malicious thing. It wasn't amazing, but it creates a neutral point for next year. It's just low key. It's a But it also shows remember, this season isn't about the burn. It's about the world post burn. It was never about the burn. That's why it's taken 11 episodes to find the cause. There's a reason why they kept pushing it down the path every time, because that's not the point, and it felt not the point. Same with Emerald Chain. She's not very good. She's better this week, but not by a lot. She's okay.
I don't know. This episode just was kind of meh for me. Yeah, tune in tonight, guys, for our live reaction video. We break this down scene by scene and really kind of pick it apart. And just point out the good and the bad, because I found a lot of good in this that I really enjoyed, but then at the same time it was equaled out by the not so great, or the stuff that didn't quite make any sense, and that might be explained away later when we talk about it. We'll see.
But I'm both camps, so I can talk about both.
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, guys, put your comments down below what you think about this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? The overall consensus last night on my live, it was just kind of meh, or they didn't enjoy it. So I'm interested to find out your thoughts. So make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and click the notification bell icon to all, so you do know when we go live, so you can be part of those conversations, because we love having the community we have join us.
And now as Discovery is starting to wrap down, those super chats, those Patreon, PayPal, whatnot supports do make a massive difference going to 2021 especially, so support us if you can. And just the best way, as we always love, is join those lives in super chat. We love that conversation, and if you can fund the channel, 10 of you give $5, makes a big difference. All those PayPal, Patreon, like I said, or join the channel. We love seeing loads of people in the chat have those little logos next to their names, knowing they're really part of the as part of the channel as they can possibly be. And we love that. And if you like I said, kind of the paid ways, every bit we do is free anyway. So just check it out, tune in, enjoy, like. and share. Simple ways, easy ways, free ways, and tune back in next time.
That's right. So until then, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
He is, and I'm Commander Coggins.
And we'll see you guys probably later tonight or in the future.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.